All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome back to True Crime Loser. How you doing? Happy Monday. Here we are. Oh boy. So today we're gonna finish up old Dusty McPhetridge. Just a real winner we got here. And I thought there was gonna be a lot more on Dusty for this episode. I stopped my last video with 50 minutes left in the interrogation, thinking that'll be the Monday episode, but most of it is just him sitting alone in the interrogation room like a pathetic blob of guilt and sadness and regret for getting caught. But we'll finish this up, and then I'm going to talk about a case of a guy that's getting sentenced this Friday, May 3rd. It's kind of the same, similar type cases. All right, if you like the show, there's a Patreon link in the description. Do it for the people. I would really appreciate it. Okay, so we pick up as Dustin is just, all he really has left are these desperate pleads for mercy, which are falling on very deaf ears. So he'll go into these like, I can't make it in jail. I can't do it. It'll kill my mama. And Detective John is just not really hearing. He just goes, "Oh well, I don't handle the jail. That's not my department." When, whenever the interrogator, because the interrogator, especially in this situation, is just acting like his buddy, right? That's a very common tactic to get people to keep talking is, hey, we're buddies. I'm not like those police out there. I'm in here. I'm your buddy. I want your side of the story. There's always two sides, and I want yours. They got that. But then they always seem to not be in charge of all the bad stuff around it. So Dustin starts being like, well, what's going to happen to me? And Detective John goes, well, you're gonna be processed and you're gonna go to jail. And Dustin looks at him like, but I got a disability. He's this look of like, I've never had to take responsibility because I've just shown him my cane. I walk with my thing, and then everyone just makes me apologize and lets me go. But you can see for the first time as John tells him that he's going to be processed in jail. He's like, I can't make it in jail. And John's like, well, and he's like, how much? Well, then how do I get out? And he's like, well, you'll be set bond. And Dustin has all these questions about bond, and John is just like, it's not my department. And then Dustin's like, well, is NBC going to be following me around? And John's like, I don't control the media. I was just the one pretending to be your bud. So it gets sad as Dustin realizes, like, but you were my friend. It's getting sad. And then, so John leaves for a little bit, comes back. They sit down. John's got more questions about his computer. And then it comes to, he's like, do you save porn on your computer? And Dustin's like, yes. And after the interview, you knew that was going to be a yes. There's just looking and hearing him talk, it's like this dude has been saving porn on his computer for a while. I would be surprised if anything else was saved on Dusty's computer. It's like, oh, look, a Word document. There is one thing other than porn on Dustin's computer. It's just one Word document with saying, I love porn, and that's it. So his computer is packed to the absolute brim with porn. And Detective John's like, is there any underage porn? And Dustin's answer is, I don't know. I haven't looked at all of it. There may be a few underage pictures, or there might be some DVDs on my desk. I haven't looked at. And he tries to downplay it of just like, oh, I got a lot of porn, and like it's, some of it is child pornography, but I don't want trouble. I'm gonna delete it all when I get home. I just don't want any trouble. I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time. I just want to delete it all right when I get home. And John really isn't hearing the when I get home. He's hearing the I have child pornography. And so they go over how he gets his child pornography, real riveting stuff. And he talks about how he just lives with his mama and her third husband. And I just was getting this, just a real depressed. Think about their house is just mama's third husband, and Dustin. That's great. Okay, so then John leaves again, and it's just really wrapping up at this point. And how I had brought up that Dustin clings to normalcy, and how a lot of people, when they're facing years in jail and shock of being caught, they just want to have normal conversation with the detective just to feel, I think it's to just feel normal, like someone that didn't try to bang a kid and is going into the system for years and years, and it's just this last final grasp to. And also in Dustin's case, I think if he can just connect with John on some sort of level, John is just going to be like, all right, get out of here. We scared ya. Okay? As long as you delete all the child pornography right when you get home, okay? I don't want you eating a bowl of cereal and then watching a movie and then deleting all the child pornography right when you get home. I really think that Dustin thinks that if he can just tell that one story. And so John comes back, and he's just coming in to get like some information. He's barely even sitting down, and Dustin is just sitting there. He just can't believe it. He's just had his reign of creepy perv time on the internet for years at this point, and he just can't believe that it's come down to this, and he's just sitting in this bright room, and so he starts trying to tell John this story of when he got a speeding ticket in his mom's midnight purple PT Cruiser. And he's just like, yeah, they used to have this camera up at the intersection, and but they switched the timing on it. And it's like this long-winded story of, and it's like, why are you saying this? And he's going on, he's like, yeah, and they made it so it took up the picture. They changed the timing of it. And John this whole time is like, oh, really? Huh, no way, right? Just like doing it's like how I sound when my girlfriend's telling me a long story of her work. Like after a while, I'm just like, oh, really? Crazy. No way. And John's just giving him the, hey, cool. Well, anyway, Dusty, you're going to go to jail. And Dustin is like, well, it used to turn red and then give you a ticket, but then now it turns to yellow. And John's like, huh, right. Okay, well, yeah, they're going to come in and cuff you. And then Dustin really wants to call his mama because she's going to be mad if they get there to search her house for all of the child pornography. Probably in the county is in her house. And so he wants to call her and warn her that they're going to come and get all the child pornography. And John is just like, no. Can I call my mama? And he's like, well, you live far away, don't you? You'll probably be able to call her before before we get there, and it's just, not really helping him. And then Dustin just goes on one last I'm an idiot monologue. He's just like, I'm an idiot. That's the God's honest truth. I don't want no trouble. And John's like, well, good luck, buddy. And reaches out, shakes his claw, and leaves the room. And again, Dustin is just sitting there. I think this is why the To Catch a Predators are satisfying in a weird way, because there's no victim. At least not on this round of internet creepery. But to just look at him and be like, yeah, you got to go away for a while. I mean, what do you want? You have stacks of child pornography. Stive and McDaniels would have respected Dustin's collection. Oh, the funny thing, too, is John keeps calling him the wrong name. It's like, if you're going to put someone in jail, at least call him the right name. And it's almost the condescending. At times, it's because Dustin will be like, I don't want any trouble. I can't make it in jail, please. And John's like, well, Justin, have a good one, buddy. And, okay, so that's the end of Dustin. He did, I think, around 10 years in jail, and he was kind of a pain in the ass inmate. He sent the judge a letter, or like multiple letters being like, they have my release date wrong. It should be this and it should be that. And if you look up Dustin McPhetridge letters, but he did his time, so good for him. And now he works. One of his family members owns a gas station, so he works at a gas station. So hopefully he's on the straight and narrow and he did his time. But anyway, so I'm going to talk about a guy named Austin Jones just for the rest of this episode. And it's a similar case. But I think when we all think of the creepy, older internet predator that's preying on young kids that don't really know what's going on or naive when it comes to the internet, I think we all picture people like Dustin, just a scary ogre type, much older, deformed type of person. But really, in reality, I think it's much more like this Austin Jones situation. And so if you've never heard of Austin Jones, and just to put it out, he's sentenced for this whole thing I'm about to talk about on May 3rd, so this Friday. So I'm really interested to see what kind of sentence he's going to get. But if you don't know who Austin Jones is, he became a extremely famous and successful YouTuber. I think probably his heyday was 3 years ago or 4 years ago, and he was this young, baby-faced, good-looking kid that had the Justin Bieber hair, like a lot of hair, and then it all like goes to the side, across, like almost covering his eyes. I feel like there's always some young, cute kid becoming famous on YouTube that has hair that is like goes to the side. The girls love the thick hair pushed to the side on the young boy. So he's this guy, and he becomes famous for doing a cappella covers of hit songs on YouTube. So his whole thing was, excuse me, is like a hit song would come out, like a Justin Bieber song, and then he would cover it a cappella where he sings every part. So there'll be there's a bunch of different squares on the screen, almost like the Brady Bunch, how they're all like looking at each other. And so then he films himself singing all of the instrument parts. So like, bop, 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 bop. And then another one of his faces in a different square will sing the words. And Then all of a sudden, his head is in all the squares, singing all the instrumental parts and all the singing parts, and I don't know. Hopefully you get it. So he's this young YouTuber that just blows up. He's got the Justin Bieber hair, and the crazy thing about it is he became famous for doing cover songs. So he doesn't even have the artistic stress of writing another hit song and creating it. He just could sit back, someone comes out with a huge song, he covers it a cappella, so he doesn't even play an instrument, or at least not good enough to ever put one into videos. And he explodes. 600,000 subscribers, all of them in that boy band, 11-year-old to like 15, 16-year-old age group. Extremely successful, making a bunch of money off massive YouTube tours. And so I guess like all the little popular, good-looking YouTubers that have all the teen bot fans, they'll like get them and put a tour together where it's like, come see your favorite YouTuber and perform, and it'll be great. And so these people put this tour together. This is probably 2 years ago, of all these YouTubers that have these young followings. And one of the YouTubers that agreed to do the tour had never heard of Austin Jones before. And I actually had never heard of him until his whole scandal. I don't think I'm the age group that is into him. I don't think he's going for 32-year-old dudes. But so he goes nuts. They book this tour, and one of the other little cute YouTube kids with the hair across the face thing had never heard of Austin Jones either. So he searched him because he's like, oh, I'm going on tour with this guy. He's really popular. And he searches Instagram and is looking up Austin Jones, and he sees a bunch of comments on all of Austin Jones' stuff of being like, LOL, this guy asked me for nudes 2 years ago when I was 14, or, this guy asked me for twerking videos last year, LOL. And the guy, I think his name's Fizzy. I don't know. It's hard to know all these young kids' names. I tried to find his name, and his name's like Fizzy or something. I was like, all right, I don't know. So this other popular YouTuber named Fizzy was noticing all these comments and was thinking, this is kind of creepy. I have a young fan base, and I don't want to go on tour with this Austin dude if he is creeping out his own fan base. So this guy started looking into it, started reaching out to these people that were commenting, and it came out that Austin Jones has just been sending his fans real creepy stuff. Look it up if you want, but asking them to model his merch, asking them to do twerking, that's like the move where you like bounce your butt, asking them to film themselves twerking in their underwear, asking them to twerking without underwear on, all this stuff. And Fizzy, or the other guy on the tour, starts finding it, starts reaching out to these people. They're telling him, yeah, he like wanted me to shake my butt with a wedgie with underwear on. And so this Fizzy guy has lots of followers, a big social media thing. And so he starts retweeting, or I don't even know, basically taking these people's comments that were kind of falling on deaf ears, and he threw them out into the gauntlet of the internet. Well, then it gets pretty dark, because there was a lot of people making money, about to make money off this tour. A lot of venues, a lot of people that have worked with Austin Jones for a while. This big Austin Jones machine starts emailing this Fizzy guy and being like, you're treading on thin ice. If you want a body on your hands, then if you don't want a body on your hands, I suggest you stop and let this topic die. Austin Jones is going to kill himself, and it's going to be your fault. They're sending him like, you better get a lawyer because this is internet bullying what you're doing. You've posted 60 times about how Austin Jones is this predator, and now Austin Jones is going to kill himself. And so and it just died down. For a whole year, everybody was kind of attacking this Fizzy guy, being like, you ruined his career. And meanwhile, Austin Jones is totally freaking out. Everybody that has commented, yeah, he wanted me to do these twerking videos. Now Austin is sending them all like direct messages or private messages being like, I'm freaking out. This is ruining my career. Please delete your tweet or whatever you said, and so he sends out all these messages to all the people that are tweeting about it, and it's trending, so it's a lot. And then everyone starts posting screenshots of those messages of him, begging for them to delete it. And so I guess my point is with this is I think realistically, a lot of the times it's not that what we picture as this, deformed ogre with a disability that's way older, that's perving on the young girls. With this one, I think he was like 21 or 22. He looked like he was 18, he's got the hair and everything, and he was going after these young girls. And so if you got a kid, you gotta know what they're doing with technology. But don't just think it's some creepy dude that lives with his mama. It could be just someone a few years older that they really look up to that's creepy. So anyway, this guy, Austin Jones, after 2 years of it just sort of kind of rearing its head and getting on the internet, and then it kind of died down again, and then finally he's arrested, and he's charged with, I think, 1 or 2 counts of production of child pornography. And so here, what a fall from grace. This has been a whole year of falling from grace. We have Jussie Smollett, which probably deserves an update video one of these weeks. A lot has happened since my video and the Gym Can't Swim video that I worked on. But like the Jussie Smollett, great acting career, solid little music career, and then he just flushed it all down the Watts. And then this Austin Jones guy, again, all you got to do is learn other people's songs and then post your head with the fucking hair in the square and sing it. That is the life. To just tour with other people's songs with your little hair. That's it. It rivals Jared from Subway. He blew it the worst. All that guy had to do is hold up a pair of his old jeans and smile and just ride off into the sandwich sunset, and he was good to go. But Austin, he gets arrested. He pleads guilty for a charge or 2 of production of child porn. And on Friday, the 3rd, we're through the whole thing. And I am really interested to see what he gets. Because he kind of looks fat and depressed now. But he was just this little like Justin Bieber type dude, and he got charged with or pled guilty to production of child pornography. And you got to think, if Dustin gets 10 years, if all these To Catch a Predator dudes get around between 5 and 10 years, there were real victims in this one that sent him twerking videos, and it's going to be interesting to see what he gets. It's in Chicago, so I'll do an update, but follow along. May 3rd, the sentence goes down. All right, I'm going to cut it off there. I hope that was a good episode. Not really sure, but thank you to everybody that participates. I hope you had a good weekend. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. True Crime Loser out. Why, Stiv and why?